Hello everybody, my name's Jason. For those of you who don't know, we have Ben Friesen joining the show today.
I'm Ben Friesen. I'm a longtime player, a shorter time board member, about that same time backgammon director and organizer. I currently am a Master Class 3 for the Backgammon Masters awarding body. Have had some success on the tours, mostly the American Backgammon Tour. So here I am now in Wisconsin to play some backgammon with Jason.
Ben's a very experienced player, has been playing backgammon for a long time. We played a 7-point match, but instead of showing the whole match, because Ben's superior, so I mean, what's the fun there? I'm gonna show you basically some interesting plays that came up. So not only did I learn in the process, hopefully you can learn as well. It's only 8 in the zone. I think it's too early to double.
I suspect you're right.
Yeah.
I also think that if I was playing a really, really strong opponent in an ABT event, I would just double.
This first one here is actually from our first game, so it's 0-0 or 7 away, 7 away. Basically, I'm debating doubling here. I only have 8 checkers in the zone, which is where my hesitancy is coming in, but I have some threat coming around and I have Ben on the bar, so I was debating doubling here. Do you think the fact, like the logic of only 8 checkers in the zone? I mean, I have a 3-point board with 1 on the bar.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly right. It's just that if I don't anchor and you hit another one or bring checkers down, you're going to now be way past your market. I think that enough sequences blow past the market and make it impossible for me to take.
Yeah.
And that market loser theory is a big part of the cube actions. It's about doubling at the last possible moment where the next roll your opponent won't take.
This market loser theory that Ben is talking about here, it's really interesting and really cool. Basically the idea that you're losing your market, you're losing your opportunity to double. And Ben's kind of chatting about it here, but it's just a really interesting idea, especially from a beginner perspective, that you don't want to double too early, but you also don't want to lose your market and then double, and then your opponent's like, no, I can't take this. So you want to double right before it's at that place where you've lost your market.
This, like I said, is probably is a roll early, but if you know you're playing a stronger opponent, it could be a good spot to try to get 4 points instead of 2. Now the problem is, I anchor, I make another point in my board, and you might be looking at a 4-cube. So, you know, like, it's got its downside.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's see what happens.
I feel like that's like something I really struggle with. I don't send the cube early enough a lot of times. So this is our second match here. We're 7 away, 6 away, and I roll a 3-2. And for whatever reason, I think, hey, let's clean this up. I'll move from my 7-point to my 4-point with the 3, and then from my 6-point to 4-point, making my 4-point. That felt really good in the moment. And for whatever reason, as you'll see Ben explain, that's not the right move. And now looking at it after the fact, I'm wondering why I would have done what I did there. The reason I'm showing this is that it's really awesome to play with more experienced players, because when you're playing on Extreme Gammon or something like that, it tells you that the move is wrong, but then you don't necessarily know why the move is wrong. In this case, it would be very easy to see, okay, well, I should have made the 5-point. Okay, that makes sense. But as Ben shows here, he kind of directs my eye and then he pulls checkers away to kind of like let me see the board more clearly. And it's just, ultimately what I'm saying is it's really cool to play with somebody who's more experienced, and I highly recommend it for this reason alone, that they can help you see the board more clearly.
Wow,
I really had to hunt for that.
Yeah, and for some reason, what happens is people get stuck in their mind. I got to clean this blot up, and they just see the extra checkers that they're used to having there, and they make the 4-point. I mean, it's just a very common visual, like just not seeing it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love this way of playing right now. Like, this is so educational.
Sometimes you have to pet the prime.
Yes, pet the prime. Otherwise, I could hit and counter. So this is our second game in the match, still 7 away, 6 away to me right now. I took the cube, Ben sent the cube my way earlier, and I am quickly getting into a back holding game here. Behind a 5 prime, not cool. I roll a 2-1, and I immediately make a blunder here. The first thing I go to do is to make Ben's 3-point, and I should have left it at that, because that indeed was the best move and what I should have done. But I got greedy, and I decided to hit and make a point instead. I spent the rest of this game wishing I would have made that back anchor, and I didn't. And looking at this now, it's like, okay, it's very clear. But over the board, for whatever reason, I wanted to go for the short-term gain, and it bit me.
One of those plays was very clearly right.
Yeah.
One of them was not.
The one I made?
Yes. Yeah. So it does look better right now. It
Yeah.
does feel better right now. The problem is you're in a back game, and a back game is all about patience.
Yes.
So anchoring forward, because what are you trying to do with these checkers? You're trying to get them out past the prime. Well, what do you have to do to get them past the prime? You have to get to the edge. So this play is just hands down the only play on the board.
Okay. I saw it, just didn't do it.
Yeah. I thought you were just going to tap. Oh, great. That's exactly what I wanted. And it was. This was exactly what you wanted. It was a super joker. That you blundered. And that's all right.
You learn.
Uh-huh. It happens. And I can't wait for you to roll double 2 and prove me wrong, That's how this game usually goes. Yeah, it was a very short term. That was like eating that extra piece of pie. Yeah. And then feeling so bloated a few hours later.
Why did I do it?
Yes.
Ah! And then a lot of great things from this second game of our match. Still 7 away, 6 away. Ben is quickly racing towards a potential backgammon here. Cube's in my court, and I roll 4-2. And the 4-2 hits Ben, which is wonderful. And then I try to decide what to do with that 2. I ultimately end up moving 6 to 4 in my home board. As you'll see Ben explain, that isn't the greatest move. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with there, I think.
And the general idea is how do you win this game?
I keep you pinned down, but I make...
You have to make the board. You have to keep hitting shots, you have to make the board. You need 12 checkers to do that.
Yeah.
How many checkers do you have left to make the board with? Only the 4 you need.
Yeah.
So you can't, because I don't have a board, you really have to not worry about immediate hitting numbers and just try to contain me. And containing me means hitting shots, making points. So move this piece. It might be right to do something like this because it blocks double 6.
Sure.
6-6 stops there. But I suspect that this is going to be the right play.
Yeah.
Partly because I don't have a board. If I had less checkers off, you could win just by doubling me out sooner. But because I have so many off, you have to contain me for a long time, and that means making the board. So, yeah.
This game, I'm 3 away, 6 away. I've gotten myself into a bit of a back game here. It seems fairly strong, and here I roll a 3-1, and it seems it makes a lot of sense just for me to make my 1 point. I have a 5-point board, which is awesome then. And my initial gut reaction was to move from the 10 to the 9. Where was I? Here?
Yeah.
I feel like this is what I want.
I like your 3. The question is the 1. So, what you would have to do, if this was the finals of a big tournament, you had time, you would want to go through every number that I have to play and figure out where you want it to be. Right now, I cannot play 4s except for 1-4. That would give you a double shot. If you were to move this checker, all of a sudden I have to play the 4 here. You probably don't want that because a lot of those 4s are going to mean that you get less shots. Okay, But what about the 2s? I also can't play 2s. I can play 1-2, I can play 3-2, I can't play 4-2 right now. I can't play 5-2, I can only play the 5. So maybe this is better. Maybe you force me to hit with a 2. Now that would mean 2-4, I take a checker off and you get shots at this. 2-5, I play both of them and you get shots at this. You have to go through every single number in these positions to get a better sense of what the right play is.
Yeah, so get off the backgammon.
Well, hold on though. You can still get off the gammon, okay? So what you have to worry about is 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. So for sure you have to get 3 pips out. But then you have to try to balance it with crossovers.
All right, here we're 3 away, 6 away. We're still in that same previous game where I was in the back game and it didn't pan out for me. And now there's the threat of a backgammon. Ben's got 6 checkers off already. Initially, I was like, okay, let's run home. Let's get out of here and do it quickly. And then Ben started, because I roll a double 3 here, and Ben mentioned the idea to efficiently do crossovers. So I make several moves here to do it in the best way, and I'll let Ben kind of explain it from there. So then we do 3 down, there's a crossover.
I think that's one of them. I think that's another one. And the only question is the last one. And I think because you can't get a crossover, you go ahead and do this and guarantee you'll get off the backgammon. But if you had another perfect crossover, I would probably do that instead. This is very nuanced. In general, if you're not sure, if you don't have time, just get off the backgammon. To here, you don't have to go all the way because I have 9 checkers left, right? It's gonna take me 3 rolls no matter what. So you get 2 rolls to move these. You can still not, waste any more than that. But now I can get off in 2 rolls, so you have to move one of those checkers out. Otherwise you could get, or at least move it at 1, I mean, this looks really nice because it duplicates your 1s. And if you, for the same reasons why you left me the 1s, like if you hit me, I can hit back. Gives me ways to cover if I come in.
So this one we're going to be looking at is actually from Ben's perspective. This is the setup he has right now, and he rolls a 5-2. And the reason I bring this up is the idea of duplication. And duplication is something that I know of, but I don't do it a lot over the board, not because it's not good, but because I just don't think of it and being newer and all that. So with a 5-2, Ben decides to make the best play, which is 13, his midpoint down to his 6 point. And the reason for that is that it duplicates 1s. So if I roll a 1, I could make my 2 point, or I could hit him. So this is the last one I have from this match. We played for a little over 2 hours for the whole thing, and that's because I was asking a ton of questions, and if I made bad moves, Ben would call them out and explain the idea behind them and why they were good or bad. Here I rolled double 5s. I have 4 checkers back. Not great, but my initial thought was to move one of those checkers out and bring it around and keep 3 checkers back with the idea that I can hit and still have a good point. Ben goes on to explain why that isn't a good idea.
That's always one of them.
Yes.
And the question is, do you make that point or do you come around?
My thought here is come around because then I have 3 so I can potentially hit and still be okay. That was my thinking there.
Yeah. Funny enough, that was my automatic play, but I very quickly realized that it was the wrong idea.
Yeah.
You're trying to get shots, and this is how you get direct shots. So that point cannot be cleared easily.
Block you there in a way?
Yeah, otherwise I'm just gonna do something. I'm gonna move this checker first, and then I'm just gonna do something like this and give you 8s.
Yeah.
But rather than you getting 8s, you can just have 3s, direct 3s.
I do, yeah.
So this is clearly better. Your instinct was mine too. I was just coming around. But you have time. You can move those 2 checkers.
And it makes a lot of sense because at this point it's Crawford and I just want to win this game. So, I mean, a gammon would be nice, but I just want to win this game, get it done. Basically, the whole idea here is that I want to make Ben leave a shot. And what's the best way to do that? To put a blockade or a barrier in his way that he's forced to do so. So the way Ben explains this is really cool. This might be one of my favorite favorites because I guess I wouldn't have thought of doing this initially. I would think just get to safety and wait. So that's all we have for this video. This was a really fun one. If you guys enjoyed this, I would love to do more of these with other great players, masters, grandmasters, etc. This was a ton of fun to do. Definitely check out Ben Friesen and all of his work. I'll have everything linked in the description below. Great guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him at a tournament, definitely say hello. He's a wealth of knowledge and just a great guy. And I'm so glad that he was able to stop by. But until the next one, take care.